Hi everybody, my name is Kate. Welcome to my channel, Trinergy Awakens Naturally. This is in a series of who knows, 2, 3, 400, who knows. I'm doing my best to keep these under 15 minutes because I know that people get bored and they want to move on. However, this is part of a series having to do with Elon Musk being on Saturday Night Live and admitting to the world that he has Asperger's. And so if you've watched the other videos, congratulations, you'll know where we are. If you haven't, hop on in to where I am on my star. That when I'm offering up conversation with somebody or they're offering up communication with me, if respect is lacking already, we're going to have a major problem going forward, because any weird, twerky, weird, twitchy, Tourette's thing that I have, which I do. I have body tics, and I don't mean the parasitic things. Don't have those anymore. Thanks. I mean like just weird twitches and stuff. And if I'm already having that and it's weirding people out, and I'm then going to have some problems with my communication and look like an idiot or sound like an idiot, and I got somebody who's wanting to stand over me with some disrespect, that's a hot second of, I don't think so. And we're going to be in lateral combat in a minute. And so that was what I was ending in my last video with, is I work very hard to remain in dignity, not in indignity, indignant, self-righteous indignation. Righteous anger is one thing. Self-righteous indignation is quite another. And I've used a lot of examples in religion. I'm not a particularly religious person. I'm my own walking theology, thanks. I'd like to choose that on my own. I don't want to go through what is somebody else's burped up version of that for me. That doesn't work for me. However, I'm all about everybody expressing their own divinity. And so for me, that idea of someone disrespecting me, that's the same as if we go with Christianity, and I'm not exclusively, bound to one particular religion, so please keep that in mind. Great deal of respect for the divine, however it shows up, and it's not just in Christianity as far as I'm concerned, and it certainly isn't limited just to Earth ops. We're well beyond it with space and NASA and Elon Musk being a nerd with Asperger's on Saturday Night Live. So to me, it's no different than in whatever part of the Bible it's in, where Jesus walks into a temple and messes the joint up and says, how dare you come into this temple and disrespect it and pimp and prostitute. Women are here trying to buy their doves or their whatever they are for sacrifice, and you are overpricing them. You are, what do they call it? Price gouging. You're being disrespectful, that these are people here that are bringing their meager offerings to be able to offer a sacrifice of respect. And you're in here with your flea market. I don't think so. And that is called righteous anger. Righteous anger. Ain't no place in the Bible that I read so far, and I'm not a big Bible scholar, so I don't want to hear about it, honestly, that I never read anywhere that said that Jesus had self-righteous indignation about anything or self-righteous anger. He had righteous anger, which says that's correct and appropriate response to, you be disrespecting my temple, man. What are you doing? You can't do that. That you're taking advantage of people who are trying to sacrifice and show their devotion and offer their own divinity its space and its place to be recognized, honored, and grown some more and known some more, and you be taking advantage of it. No, you don't. And he toppled a few tables and said, yeah, take this flea market and get it out. Don't disrespect the temple like that. Shout that out. And that's really kind of played down. And what my understanding of Christianity was, I've been through quite a few churches and quite a few understandings through just growing up in that type situation where I was exposed to a lot of different types of churches. And as a classically trained singer, I've sung in a bunch of different churches, and none of those theologies, have ever said to me that Jesus walked into the temple and the righteous anger thing. I never heard one sermon or moment on the mound of talking about anything except the resurrection story, the birth story, and the platitudes and beatitudes and all that. And we kind of skip over that one where he says, oh, no, you don't. Absolutely not. Do you walk in here and disrespect my temple, or disrespect this temple, disrespect a holy place? How dare you? Nope, get it out of my face. And I highly doubt that Jesus, if we're going to stick with that understanding, and just for this framework, I absolutely am willing to stick with this framework and understanding of Jesus as the man walked in and said, nuh-uh, no you don't. That's not how you're going to do that. That's disrespectful AF, and no, you may not be in here doing that here at this spot. Now, you want to do flea market, do it somewhere else, and you don't do that to people who are working on their divine to make it fine and to grow that, to know that, and you're going to pimp and prostitute that? No, you don't. Let me throw a table over or two. And that's not really ever been, I've never heard, not one time have I ever heard one sermon, one preacher person, one anything. I had to really dig a while ago whenever I was just curious about it, really look for it, that it's really kind of peddled away and explained. And, you know, Jesus was a kind man. He was this, and it was kind of like, you know, almost downplayed that righteous anger is righteous anger, as is righteous grief, as is righteous joy. Righteous, correct, appropriate, calibrated response. That you disrespect my temple? No, you don't. You're honoring my temple? Yeah, you do. And I mean, I don't think that we spend enough time really looking at our divine enough to know that it's totally fine to be angry and to be pissed off and to say whatever's on your mind. If it's the integrity and the honesty and the dignity of my divinity says you are disrespecting me and my temple, that's a no-go. That's a fall it flat right on the spot right there. Drop it. Get out of here. And if I'm coming at somebody else and I'm already disrespecting their temple by my prejudice of their color, their job, their gender, what their face is already saying, I'm not prejudiced against anybody already based on something that I see. If you vibing weird near me, I'm going to know. And that is not a prejudice. That's I got to go. That I don't hang out with frequency that freaks me out. If your frequency is freaky, you ain't freaking it with me, because we're not going to make that work. I'm not even going to try, because that hasn't worked for me. That got me into a lot of years of feeling very ashamed of myself and bad and believing a bunch of stuff on a couch that, yeah, I needed to be up off that couch and talking about some righteous anger and some righteous grief and some righteous boundaries of respect of, yeah, this is me, this is my divinity, and you can wrap a diagnosis on it if you want to. However, if you're gonna, why don't you get the right one, first of all, and stick with that. And nobody handed me a bunch of over-the-counter, under-the-counter, around the counter, above the counter, whole bunch of controlled substances, it didn't matter. I had a whole bunch of input of little Frankenstein, laboratory stuff that, as much as it was coming at me, I was happy to return the favor, and it's lateral combat. It doesn't work. And I don't believe that because I have Asperger's, autism, however you would like to look at that, doesn't matter to me. I don't believe that it's simpler for me to do life or easier. However, I can say I'm an intuitive, I'm an energy healer, an energy feeler, and an empath. And because of that, it's made it very difficult to be able to have those boundaries, because energetically, we are all energy. And this is straying away from Elon Musk quite a bit, that he's no longer part of the conversation. This is just for me, that energetically, I'm wide open to be receiving other people's energy, and I'm believing some old bull paradigm of you have to be nice, you have to be friendly, you have to be whatever. No, if you're freaky and you're freaking it weird near me, that's going to be disrespecting my temple as soon as I let you into my temple. So I had to learn the hard way on, if you have somebody that's littering outside the temple, or they're already spitting on the ground or doing something rude, or, taking a whiz or something, you probably don't want to let them into your temple. And so I've energetically had to really fortify me and my own energetic stamp, my own energetic address, my own energetic frequency, and my own energetic signature, what's absolutely me, and not allow anybody else into that. That's mission control, and I got that. Thanks, Bob. I don't need you to be in here telling me how to make that gold. No thanks. I'll alchemize the garbage away from me the way that I need to, and that's my divinity, and be more than happy to put it out there that, yeah, you can do your own. You don't need to be over here monkeyed around in mine any more than I need to be in thine. And we're going to call that nothing but Frankenstein if we're really going to be honest. And coming out of that has been a real, it's been a minute to be as old as I am. I'm almost 53. I won't be almost 53 on the 27th. I will be absolutely 53 on the 27th of May, 2021. And it has been a real battle of the wills, battle of the egos, battle of the ills, battle of the emotions, the sadness, the grief, the this, the that. And I'm not looking to do lateral combat with anybody ever again anymore. I'm here because I have energy, intuitive capability, and empathic ability, not empathetic, totally different thing, different animal, that I have to be very careful of my energetic borders. However, it doesn't mean that you can't be in my biosphere. However, we can't share the same energetic signature. It's impossible. And when we're enmeshed in those codependent relationships that are toxic, AF, yeah, we're going to try to put that all together and harmonize, and it won't work. And even when I'm in better harmony with the people around me, I still don't want anybody trying to share my frequency. I'm my own person, and you are too. And it's disrespecting your temple to expect you to adopt my idea or me to adopt yours if we want to have some sort of relationship that I have to sell some part of my soul or you have to sell some part of your soul. Then I'd rather be alone, thanks. And if autism purchases me the ability to do that, I still cry, I still get sad, and I still get mad. I still have the whole host of emotions like a regular human being. However, neurodiversity isn't well understood. However, I'm good in my hood enough to say that whether you understand it or not, whether I understand it or not, Divinity's right here on the spot and is happy to let me know that, that frequency be freaking me. We are not going to stand here and try to do some sort of a something. I'm not any longer. I don't care who you are. I don't care what position you used to play on that team. I'm not doing that anymore because I haven't found that to be very effective. And I'm not going to launch my SpaceX anything. My Falcon 9 isn't going to do anything except be taken down in a Phoenix Rising over and over and over again. And I'm too old to play, Phoenix Rising again and again and again. And even if I wasn't and I was newborn, it doesn't matter. The communication issue is it has to start with respect. And if I've already made my predisposed, assessment of you based on something that, that's a bad thing. And I don't know that autism allows me the, latitude to not have that predisposition to already judge. I'm not sure. I've been pretty judgy in my life. However, your color, your whatever, it's the behavior that I'm willing to assess. Skip the judgment part that says, shame on you for doing that. That's the dysfunctional and enmeshed part. And no thanks. Get that out of here. That's lateral combat. We aren't going to ascend and go 88 anywhere. We're going to stay in eternity of yuck. And I want to ascend. And I don't want it labeled something in particular. I don't want a cosmic guide that's going to make me pay how much to go through what records and tell me about my past lives either. That's just me personally. I have my own sovereignty, and I'm pretty sure that any holy divinity within me that can give the secret to you is probably willing to share it with me. And that's the way that it is. That's the best for it to be for me, is if there's God presence, which lightning, thunder, hurricanes, fire, nuclear fission, etc., and a whole bunch of fifth element stuff that we don't know how to define. And if there's that, and there is, science tells me that, whatever that is up there, that's running the show far better. And I can sink into that frequency of synchronicity and divinity the more I listen to that as it's expressing itself through me, than if I'm trying to get it from a face or a place or a substance or a race or an identity that just isn't working for me. And I don't care to be labeled, she's autistic, labeled long enough to get in the door of, she might have, a need to discuss things in a slightly different way or have boundaries to be understood differently. And it's up to me to tell you what that is, however, as kindly as I can with other people that they're teaching me of what is your boundary, the nicer that is for the we of us and our synergy and our trinergy as we are creating that together. That me and you together, we're only two human beings. However, we're creating a third thing. We're one and one, and that makes two. However, our one and one is making a synergy, and I consider that the trinergy. And I want my trinergy to be working a whole lot more Elon Musk on that this isn't personal. I don't have any knowledge of him, and I'm not making a comment or looking to, pick a fight with anybody. I'm saying somebody that's on the leading edge of thought and getting stuff to Mars. And NASA tells me all the time that, there's stuff up in the stars that we don't know. Neil deGrasse Tyson, don't just be talking random, foo-foo stuff that sounds really new agey and hip and all that. It's great. However, we have to marry that up with the real honest to goodness down here on Earth and in quantum world of fifth element, man. That's stuff that we don't know anything about. And if Einstein was thought to have Asperger's, cool, then maybe we're understanding the neurodiverse school that not every one of us is able to communicate in a normal way, and we're finding with indigos, crystals, rainbow children, etc., and in all kinds of weird places, a lot of those that are real solid in their earth ops aren't going to be willing to go there, and they wouldn't be listening to me anyway. That's fine, that's fair. However, we're all going to get there because energy is the same, and it doesn't matter what your human being wraps around your understanding of that divinity. However your human being is wrapping around it doesn't matter, because the energy is neither created nor destroyed. It's transformed, it's transmuted, it's alchemized. And I don't want somebody alchemizing my energy for me or telling me how to do it, because for the 50 years that I allowed that to happen, I was not very happy. And I'm now divorced, and I live completely alone, and I have very few relationships, with the exception of people that I call them unicorn people, because they don't act weird about the weird person that I am. And I'm not going to hang out with anybody willing to tell me how weird I am, or how, that's really, no. And if I feel that need to put that out there on somebody else, I definitely need to go back inside and shut that down, because that's about me, that I don't have a need to change you. I shouldn't. I really don't have a need. The battle is within me somewhere that I'm trying to answer. Why would I care how you reach your divinity? Now, if you're trying to strong arm and overtake and overpower me, I'm going to care all day long and do everything I can to avoid that, and then get into lateral combat, not for very long before I go, nope, absolutely not. Where's Archangel Michael? Where's Archangel Metatron? Where's Archangel Raphael? Archangel anything, or Starship Battle Galactica, whatever. I mean, the buns from Star Wars, dun, 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 whatever I use, the rosary, a Hindu prayer. That's up to me to find out what my divinity says. This is how I'll reach my temple, thanks, and let you come in here and start pimping and prostituting and putting your flea market garbage up. I don't think so. You want to stop that in a minute, like right now. And if Jesus, our most revered, that most people are pretty familiar with the Jesus story, and he wasn't the only orator in the world. He wasn't our only oracle. We've had lots of great people that have said the same story over and over and over again. And I'm not repeating something brand new here. This is old information. And if Einstein can tell us, you're attacking the problem at the level of the problem, and you're expecting things to change by going at it the same way, that's the definition of insanity. And logged a lot of time on that one there, Dr. Einstein. You're right. And let me go split an atom in a whole different way, that we have this great resource, we have this great power, and it can be used for this, or it can be used for that. And let me tell you what, I don't want to go Nagasaki or Hiroshima with my nuclear business ever again. And I don't want to get into those lateral spins with people that you're not divine and fine in your skin. That's up to you, friend, not me. And when I'm feeling that need to judge or punish or be in, that just mode of I got to change you, that's immediately the time that I can go inside and say, yeah, I ain't so divine, so I'm going to be in here not so fine until I figure it out, because we're all going to go. Our energy is energy, and it is transmuted. It is not created or destroyed. It already is. You were created out of some source, fifth element, that we don't know anything about, not nearly enough. We are just now unfolding quantum understanding of the quantum mechanics that Einstein was learning is now into the quantum physics and astrophysics and cosmology, not cosmetology, that's the hair thing. Cosmology is everything above you that you don't see, and astronomy, astrology too, if you care to wrap some of that around it also, and all kinds of frequencies and understandings of rainbow colors that we think we see. Science tells us there's so much more to see that we aren't able to visualize with just our own little eyes. And I don't have to be religious to understand that. I also don't have to limit myself to, I only believe in the science and that's it. I have no faith. I only have faith in what I can see that science tells me. I'm going to go ahead and choose to be, my own version of that. And I don't have to start a church or do lateral combat. The only church I have is the church of me, thanks, and it's my divinity and it's mine. It's totally fine, and I ain't gonna let you come in here and disrespect my temple by being rude right off the top. And it's blasphemer. It's blasphemous of me to try to do it to thee. So why would we do that other than a power struggle? And if I'm gonna have a power struggle issue, that means I need to be home, not doing that kind of damage, because it means I feel threatened, and I feel threatened for some reason. Because divinity, I don't believe Jesus ever felt threatened. I don't believe that he ever denied anyone what they were doing to him. I think he went on ahead with it, with the plan. And I'm not saying that Jesus loved being a victim. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm pretty sure that he understood what he was about. And I'm not a Bible scholar, and I don't subscribe strictly to Christianity. Divinity is divinity, and sacred is sacred, and holy to me, 2222. And it doesn't matter, because it's the frequency, whether it's coming out of Einstein's mouth or Jesus' mouth or Buddha or Norse mythology or anybody, Maya Angelou. It doesn't matter to me. Holy is holy, and holy is true. Whatever is being said by you, that is your sacred, that is your true, that is the holy you, then that's divinity. And if you're not lying to yourself on what that is and how you attain it, then who am I to try to train it my way? That's a real good way for us to be in a school with a whole bunch of pupils that can all, regurgitate wrong information and keep doing, bad equations and bad math and really hurting one another, and have, this upscaled violence, etc., to the point of, I'm not sure a whole lot of people feel very safe where they are. And for the first time in my life, finally, after, 50 something years, that I finally can relax and have my moments of grief and know that I'm going to cry. A lot of things I've had to say goodbye, and I'm going to cry. That's a normal human emotion, and I'm going to grieve, and I still don't have to drag it into the toilet. I don't have to be dragged into anybody else's toilet, nor do I have to grieve on their behalf. Even though I'm an empath and an energy healer and an intuitive, I'm going to be extra careful about, I'm not carrying your garbage for you. That's yours, boo-boo. And it's enmeshment, and it's toxic, and it's dysfunctional. It's not healthy for me to even try. And everywhere that I have, karmically, I've paid the price. Yeah, whatever you call that, I've had to clean up my math. And anywhere that the math was bad, I've had to deal with what I needed to do to clear it out, move it off of me, and call that my divinity. And however it looks to thee is not any of my business. And your opinion of me is not any of my business either. So in my humble opinion of me is the one that is really most important, because That's divinity, and I'm not going to let somebody come into my temple and disrespect that and tell me that my divinity isn't holy enough or isn't, good enough, or that, I don't believe that I'm going to slap baby Jesus or Buddha or Mother Teresa or whomever. I mean, there's millions, a lot of different people, faces have said the same thing, and it's all holy. Whatever is holy, right, and true, that's really true and is higher frequency. Doesn't matter what space, what face, what place. Doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter what the theology is. I don't have any. As I said, I don't claim theology because there are too many different people on the planet. We don't have one common sacred book other than universal laws. And right now, we're trying to unravel that fifth element. We only know about the four forces of nature for realsy, and the rest of that stuff is... that's your dealsy to figure out on your own, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm happy to share, leading edge thought with other people who are willing to embrace new understandings. However, it's not a crowded spot for a reason, because a lot of us just kind of like to slide and glide and be able to, lie to ourselves in places where it's convenient. And I don't like the way that feels. And I don't like the relationships. I want the substantial relationships, and I'd rather be alone than to be in a relationship or relationships that are not very substantial and can't hold their own. That's just me personally, that I enjoy my own time by myself, and I self-soothe in the ways that work for me, especially when divinity is willing to tell me all day long, hey Kate, this is what you can do. You're going to turn on your movie for the 40th time, and not shame myself about, my old life. Well, that's old, that's gone. We don't do that anymore. That's like not learning from the Challenger and the Columbia exploding. Nope, don't do that. You can talk about 1986 all day long, and you can talk about nope, I don't want to do that. How are we going to do it right now? That I'm going to need to rock for a few minutes. I'm going to need to nerd out and be, autistic me. I'm going to need to do me. Whatever the label be really doesn't matter, because I don't need a label. Help me to understand myself better, to know that there are other people out there who could possibly relate to me in a better way. However, the bottom line is, if I'm already showing up, allowing my temple doors to be wide open for anybody to come in and go, yeah, flea market, if I put bazaar up on the top of my temple, then I'm going to get bazaar for sure, and porn and everything else. So no thanks, this is my temple, and it's my energy and my frequency, and I can't be letting it be dragged down by thee. And I do not want to get into any kind of a situation where I would be tempted to try to drag yours down or try to pull yours up, because I'm not here to drag you out of your cave or you to drag me out of mine. That's not why we're here. That's not divine. Don't find that to be a very holy spot to stand in, other than holy self-righteous indignation. Pull that crap into another station, because it hasn't worked. Not for me, not one time, and not for anybody else that I've watched as we've done the undivine. It just didn't work. And it's all right if other people want to live their life that way. The energy will come one way or another. I would just like it to be this day, and not sometime in the future, whenever, way back then, when I'm not going to worry about too many lifetimes ago, or I'm going to worry about right now and not really worry about it. Find ways to soothe myself, offer my heart the salve that it needs to deal with the painful decisions that I've made, the painful decisions that have been made, and the terrible things that I've done, the terrible things that other people have done to me. That is all my business to deal with. And it didn't happen for me through therapy, not in the traditional sense. The best therapist I had was inside of me, and it was being empowered by a therapist who said, you can do this. And I didn't really understand a lot of what she said in the 8 years that I saw her, that it's a power differential. Mama Bon Bon made a huge difference in my life, woman. Thank you very much. Didn't understand it. Took a long time. Power differential. For as long as I believe that you hold something over me, or that you do, then I'm going to look to you as being that source of power and control. And we're all autonomous creatures. It's what we want. It's what we're born with. And it doesn't matter from whence you hail, you American or not, we are all born as our own sovereign nations and our own understanding of our own individual energetic address and signature, that I don't want mine merging with you. That's called enmeshment. It's dystoxic. It's called dysfunctional and dystoxic. AF. It is. It's enmeshment, and you'll get into that runner chaser narcissistic personality crap. I mean, all kinds of pop psychology on that, and I don't want to go there either. I want to have all my emotions, every single one of them, own them, claim them, and not have to have any shame on them or put any out there on anybody else. Doesn't mean that I'm going to tolerate somebody throwing ass at me. However, I'm certainly not going to ask them to tolerate it from me either, because that's how we end up in those situations, and why we don't really make much progress in those places is we're just kind of staying in a lateral combat. And I'd rather do my ascending and not be concerning myself with telling other people about the divinity above 3D ops. You know, if you believe in 12 more dimensions or 200 and you've got it all mapped out, that's okay, cool, whatever. I don't want to go to your school, though, if you're trying to sell me your tour and you're the only guide, or you're one of the specialized versions of it, whether you're in the Ascension crowd of New Age, New Thought, hippie out loud, or you're back in the Bible or the Torah or anything else, the Quran. I don't care. It doesn't matter what. There is not a universal sacred textbook that's held in high regard by every single person on the planet. Then nope, thanks. I'm going to go to earth physics, that kind of stuff, earth rules, natural law. We know the first four of those elements. We know those very well, we think, and we're learning that fifth one now. And to me, that's where I'll go with my sacred cow on that one. Thanks. So with that, I didn't make my 15 minutes by any stretch. However, that's okay, because Leo didn't eat my head off. He didn't scream. He didn't carry on like he does sometimes. And I was able to meet my divine. And I hope that you really can find somewhere inside of you who you are, boo-boo, because your own energetic stamp and your own energetic signature and frequency is you, is yours, is your own, and it's divine, and it's completely fine. It knows already how to do you. It probably, if you're kind of swirling with what, it probably has a few people in there in mission control that you don't need a Jean-Luc and Picard in there. You only need you. Just you, and you've got your own Scotty in your own engine room, whatever metaphor you want to use, doesn't matter. Get the idea that if there is a bunch of chatter up inside your own skin about what you should be doing and where to begin and how and all that, whoo, sacred cow, might want to take a look at that and see, do I really feel okay with my divinity being shoved down my throat in that version? And if it feels like it's being shoved down, that didn't work out for me, to feel like this is not divinity. That's not what I'm willing to do. And I don't want to put a check in the block of what I do on a Sunday morning or any other day, or somehow reach my salvation because I did this. I'm going to be my walking divinity, maybe called theology by some people, don't really care. My own walking divinity of me, as me, through me, fifth element explaining itself to me. And freaky frequency, yeah, get away from me. I don't want to do it. So I'm coming up on 3333. Shall I say? Yes, I shall. Thank you for your time. Please find your divine. It's totally fine. And have a good part of the day, whatever part of the day you're in, friend. And may you know and grow and be totally, totally, totally digging what you're about. And anything else, shout it the hell out. So have fun and take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.